The man discovered he had seemingly entered a looping space, as each time he turned a corner, a man in business attire would pass by him. Fortunately, this time the man noticed the wall sign indicated exit 0, but after turning the corner, the overhead sign displayed exit 8. The next second, that same man emerged from around the corner again. Thinking it was mental stress, the man pressed the emergency button, but both the emergency button and the nearby security office were locked tight. Before he could process what was happening, he sensed someone behind him. Sure enough, when he turned around, he saw that man smiling at him eerily. Faced with this sudden anomaly, the man was terrified and turned to run, but just as he passed the corner, crying sounds of a baby came from a storage locker behind him. The man opened it to check, and the next second he closed it with a panicked expression. Suddenly the indicator light turned orange. The baby's crying grew louder and louder, continuously banging on the locker door. Frightened, the man turned and ran, but this time what appeared in the passage wasn't that man, but a child. Thinking he had taken the wrong passage, the man turned to leave, but the next second the boy actually followed him. After the two made eye contact, the boy ran into the passage, and this time the man followed behind. However, the boy pointed at that constantly walking man as if trying to convey something. It turned out the constantly walking man was just like the man himself minus they were wrapped in a looping game. But unlike the man, it seemed this person had already completed half the game, and the game had now begun a -, player completion mode. This time when the two passed through the passage, what appeared wasn't the man but a girl. Suddenly the girl waved at the man, asking if he was trapped in the looping space. Only then did the man realize the girl, like himself, had entered the looping game. But suddenly the girl expressed that the daily routine of commuting to work and taking the subway was worse than staying in this looping game forever. However, the girl seemed to freeze in place mid-sentence, as if she had shut down. Faced with this sudden anomaly, the man wanted to escape with the boy, not noticing that the security office door lock had malfunctioned. After turning the corner, the scene before his eyes filled the man with ecstatic joy minus this time, the end of the passage wasn't a corner but a staircase. The man happily wanted to leave with the boy, but the boy's behavior suggested he didn't want the man to leave. With no choice, the man could only push the boy to the ground and charge toward what seemed like the successful end of the game. But when the boy turned the corner, the nearby sign changed to 1, and the man once again became a constantly walking player. It seemed the boy was precisely the key to whether the game could be completed successfully. This time it was a young man's turn. The man thought the boy was a player like himself and brought the boy along to play the game. But halfway through, he noticed the boy was constantly staring at the security office door. Obviously the boy was revealing some secret to the man, but the man wasn't like that constantly walking player minus. He chose to step forward and investigate. Only then did he discover the security office door lock had abnormally moved to the middle position. Fortunately, the man noticed the boy's unusual behavior and understood that the boy was key to his potential success in the game. So the two passed through the passage again, and this time the constantly walking player reappeared, but the boy hinted to the man about an anomaly overhead. It turned out the number 8 on the passage sign had flipped upside down. Sure enough, when the two turned the corner, the sign's number had reached 6, as if success was just 2 levels away. But the next second, alarm sounds rang up behind them, and a flood suddenly appeared out of nowhere at the corner. Fortunately, the man reacted quickly and immediately pulled the boy to escape. But during the escape, the boy tripped over something, and the next second he was swallowed by the flood. Because the man stopped to check, he too was swept away by the flood. But when the man opened his eyes again, his girlfriend had become his wife and the boy had become their child. It turned out that when the man was riding the subway, he received a call from his girlfriend revealing that he had become a father. It was precisely when the man was hesitating and pondering this that he walked into the looping space. Now the sight of the man and boy playing happily on the beach seemed to show that becoming a father wasn't so frightening. But the next second, back in reality, the two struggled in the flood. The man used his height advantage to push the boy up onto the passage sign, while he himself was carried away by the fierce flood. When the flood subsided, the boy also woke up. This time he walked into the corner alone. The sign nearby now displayed the number 7. Obviously the boy had successfully completed the game minus. After walking through exit 8, he would return to the real world. Suddenly the man appeared at exit 8. It turned out he, like that constantly walking player, had begun the game anew. This time the staircase that appeared lead downward, but the man didn't care about such details and walked down without hesitation. Sure enough, shadows of pedestrians appeared on the staircase. The man was certain he had returned to the real world, so he quickly took out his phone to call his girlfriend. Obviously he had now accepted the reality of becoming a father, so he walked into the subway without hesitation and began another day as a working man. But then a familiar sound came from nearby again. The crying of a baby made the man furious, and he vented his anger at a woman, but no one in the entire car stood up for the woman. Will the man stand up for the woman this time?